Life is full of moments that test us. We all face struggles, times when everything feels like it's falling apart, when the pain is too much to bear. Maybe you're going through one of those moments right now, the kind of moment that leaves you asking, why is this happening to me? Where is God in all of this? In those times, it's so easy to feel like your pain is pointless, like there's no good that can come out of it. But I want to tell you something today. There is purpose in your pain. The struggles you're facing, the hardships you're walking through, they are not in vain. God can take even the most painful experiences in your life and use them for something greater than you could ever imagine. But how do we find that strength in the middle of our struggles? How do we see the purpose when we're overwhelmed by the pain? First, we have to shift our perspective. Often, when we go through struggles, our first instinct is to ask, why is this happening to me? But what if instead we started asking, what is God trying to teach me in this? That simple shift changes everything. Instead of viewing your pain as a punishment or a setback, you start to see it as an opportunity for growth, for deeper faith, and for a stronger relationship with God. Romans 5 verses 3 through 4 says this, "We also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope." Did you catch that? Your struggles produce perseverance. Perseverance shapes your character, and that character gives birth to hope. In other words, God is working in your pain to create something far greater within you. The strength, the endurance, the faith that can only come from walking through difficult seasons. But it doesn't stop there. God doesn't just give us strength to endure pain. He uses it to prepare us for something bigger. Second, understand that your struggle is part of God's preparation. Sometimes the pain you're going through now is preparing you for a greater purpose down the road. You might not see it yet, but every struggle, every challenge is a piece of a bigger puzzle. God sees the full picture when we can only see the small broken pieces in front of us. Isaiah 55 verses 8 through 9 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." In those moments when life feels unfair or confusing, trust that God is working behind the scenes. What feels like a setback might actually be a setup for something much greater. Your pain might be the pathway to your purpose. Think about some of the greatest stories of faith in the Bible. Joseph, for example, sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused, thrown into prison. His struggles were overwhelming, and yet through it all, God was preparing him for a purpose greater than he could have ever imagined. What seemed like defeat was actually a divine setup for his destiny. Third, remember that pain deepens your reliance on God. There's something about pain that strips away all the things we thought we could depend on. It forces us to let go of our self-sufficiency and surrender to God. And in that surrender, we find strength that's far greater than anything we could muster on our own. When you're weak, that's when God's strength shines through. In 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9, the Lord said to Paul, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." And Paul's response? "Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me." When we acknowledge our weakness, God's power is unleashed in our lives. The very thing that you think is breaking you is the thing that will allow God's power to work through you. That's where your strength in struggle is found. Not in your own ability to push through, but in God's ability to carry you. Lastly, understand that your pain is never wasted. God is a master at taking broken pieces and turning them into something beautiful. The pain you're enduring now might be the very thing that equips you to help someone else in the future. Your story of struggle will one day become someone else's story of hope. God is working all things for good, even when we can't see it in the moment. Romans 8, verse 28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Your struggle is not the end. It's a chapter in your testimony. And when you come through it, not only will you be stronger, but you'll have a story to share, a testimony of how God carried you through and brought purpose out of your pain. So, when you're feeling overwhelmed by the weight of your struggles, remember this: God is with you, he's working in you, and he's preparing something greater for you. Your pain is not without purpose. It's shaping you, strengthening you, and preparing you for the calling that God has for your life. You may not see it now, but one day you'll look back and realize that the very thing you thought would break you is the thing that made you stronger, that deepened your faith, and that brought you closer to God. There is strength in your struggle, and with God, you will find purpose in your pain. As we close, remember this: your struggles are not wasted. God is using them to shape you, to strengthen you, and to reveal his purpose for your life. In the moments when the pain feels overwhelming, know that God is working behind the scenes to bring beauty out of brokenness and strength out of weakness. If this message has encouraged you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Conquer Faith. Join us as we continue to grow in faith and find purpose in every season of life. Stay strong, keep trusting, and always remember, there is strength in your struggles, and God is with you every step of the way. Thank you, and until next time, keep reflecting on his word and his love, and we will see you on the next. Conquer Faith.